Hello, everybody, and welcome to Healy for Beginners and Beyond for Thursday, June 27th, 2024. I am your host, Jake Barron, Head of Operations for the Americas, and I have my amazing co-host, Ken Close, independent Healy World member and engineer, and we're really going to get into that engineer part of Ken's experience here later on in the call when we talk about some of the charging behavior of the MagHealy. But as you see on the screen here, we're going to, oh, and also we have Dongni from our technical support team helping out in the chat. So she'll be here to assist as well for any other questions that you might have. And this call is being translated into Spanish also. So if you're looking for that, click the globe icon at the bottom of the screen and select Spanish for your language. But just a quick overview of the agenda. Again, as you see here, we're going to be talking all about MagHealy today, mainly what's new with MagHealy. That's why we're referring to this as the In Case You Missed It episode, because really since the late last year when we introduced the Meridian module for MagHealy, that was the first time that you could actually connect the MagHealy to the Analyse 2 app. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and how that interaction works and what you need to look out for when you're doing that. And then also the business suite, which is coming soon, also has a MagHealy program in it as well. We're not going to go into details on that, but we'll show what exactly that looks like. Then we're going to also talk some about how to switch back and forth between using your Healy device and using your MagHealy device with the Analyse 2 app. And then, we'll spend a little bit of time also discussing the differences between vibrating the MagHealy databases with your Healy in the Analyse 2 app versus running MagHealy programs with your MagHealy in the Healy 2 app. We'll talk a little bit about how that differs, and then we'll finish with some MagHealy charging tips and best practices. So we'll talk a little about some of the unique behavior of using a wireless charger, some of the recommendations for the charging block specifications, and we'll show you how, if you need to buy an additional wireless charger, you can now buy the original MagHealy charger in the Healy Shop, at least in the US and Mexico. So let's go ahead and we'll get right in. Ken, anything you wanted to say before we get started?
No, that sounds like some great topics. I think it was.
All right. So as always, we're going to just do a quick run through of our disclaimers related to the Healy, MagHealy, and the information field as well. These are available on our website as well, so you can check them out and read those in detail. And yeah, so we're going to start, as you saw on the agenda, with how to use the MagHealy with the Analyse 2 app. So, okay, boom, here we go. We got 4 screenshots here. And we're going to start from left to right, as we always do with the arrows pointing toward the right. But you'll see, for those of you that may have never connected your MagHealy to the Analyse 2 app, and maybe you got the Meridian module recently, there's a great promo on that going on right now. The first thing you do when you open the Analyse app, when it always goes to the Me screen when you first open up. That's kind of like the home page where you first arrive at that. And then in the top right corner, you'll see they got the little Healy icon and then the Bluetooth symbol with in a little red circle. So when you first connect to the Analyse 2 app, your device, it doesn't connect automatically. You actually have to actually initiate that process. So it will always be disconnected. You always have to connect before you can actually do an analysis. You can look at your clients and that kind of thing without being connected, but to do an actual analysis, you need to connect. So most people, the first time you have your MagHealy, you have a Meridian module, and then you came to the Analyse 2 app, you're like, where's the Meridian module? Where can I find that? But it always defaults to the last device that you are connected to. So if you're connected to a Healy device, when you last close out the Analyse 2 app, when you open it back up, it's going to be showing you the Healy modules. But if you were connected to a MagHealy the last time, when you open it back up, it would be showing you the MagHealy module. So if you're looking for the MagHealy modules, the Meridian module or the new business suite is coming up, the first thing you would want to do, if you're on this screen, click on that icon in the top right corner, and that's going to pull up this search for devices option. And then you just click search for devices, and then any devices that you're able to connect to within range are going to show up on this next screen. Maybe you have 2, maybe you have 4, maybe you have 6, maybe a lot more than this, depending on where you are. And then if you're looking for the MagHealy, of course, you would select your MagHealy device, click connect. And then after you do that, you'll connect it to, it says here, you'll see the green circle with the Bluetooth symbol inside that says connected there. And I wanted to make sure we covered this because we've had people get stuck here, or they've connected to it and they say, okay, well, where do I go now? Like, where are the modules? There's no like main menu or whatever like that. So that's why I wanted to show this screenshot in particular. You see that back arrow in the top left corner. So after you connect to whether you're connecting to your MagHealy or your Healy device via this process, you have to click this back arrow to get to, and you'll see on the next screen, that brings you over to the home page for whichever device you're connected to. So you'll see on the left here, if you're we connected to the MagHealy, and then now if I click that back arrow, which was in the top left on the prior screen, you'll see I have the green circle, everything's good, and now it's displaying only the modules associated with my MagHealy. And you see in my case, that's the Meridians module, and then the business suite, which is coming soon. And on the other side, on the right side of the screen here, you'll see, okay, if you're connected to your Healy device via Bluetooth, it would display, of course, the Healy modules there as well. So you'll see there's no Meridians module on the right side because that's specific to the MagHealy. The business suite has programs that can be used with either your Healy device or the MagHealy, and we'll show a little bit more about that in just a few minutes here. But just wanted to point this out as well, as far as if you're kind of getting stuck between these two. And then also, so I mentioned this earlier, but the modules displayed when you open the Analyse 2 app are always based on the device that was last connected to the app. So if you were last connected to your MagHealy and then you hard close the Analyse app, open it back up, it's going to take you to your Me page showing the MagHealy modules, but it won't be connected to your MagHealy device because you have to initiate that process. So if you were last using your MagHealy and you open up with the Analyse 2 app again, and you're like, well, where's all my Healy modules? Just know you have to connect to your Healy device in order for those modules to appear, the ones you want to use with your Healy. So it's, once you kind of get the hang of it, maybe you get stuck the first time, but once you realize what you need to do and where to go, it's a pretty simple process after that. Ken, anything you want to add on this particular section?
No, that's the significance there, like you pointed out, Jake, is that little red or green indicator at the top right of the screen.
Oops.
It tells you if you are connected or not connected to a device, right? And then that's of course going to be telling you also what you're able to do next, which would be nothing if you're not connected. So so this is significant stuff. Great stuff.
I mean, you have options. A lot of people, when they first open up the app, they connect the device right away. Other people like to wait until they actually have to do that analysis before they connect to the device. It's really up to you. If you're not going to need to be connected, you just want to edit some client information, that kind of thing. There's no need to connect to Bluetooth at that time. So, but yeah, so that's on this next slide that we have here. And I wanted to mention briefly, this isn't going to be a training on the business suite. It's not yet available. So we're going to wait possibly sometime later in July. We might do an in-depth training or maybe push that into August, depending on when we have all the resources available to us. But for those of you that heard us, we've talked about the business suite on some of our prior calls. And for example, here, if you have the business suite and you click, I know a lot of some people have been testing this as well, but if you click on the plus sign, that brings up the business suite sort of main homepage, and you'll see here there's 4 modules listed. We have business coach analysis, personality analysis, and target optimization, and the business program analysis. You see the other 3 are grayed out, and they have the outline of the shape of the Healy device. So that means that those other 3, those are for use with just the Healy device. The one module that is available for use with the MagHealy in the business suite is this business program analysis. And you'll see on the far right screenshot, it says basically it's the resonance of the MagHealy business programs is analyzed in the information field. And this results in a list of programs ordered by importance with the most resonant appearing on top. So this is kind of just a little bit of a sneak peek. We're not going to go into detail here, but if you were to do an analysis, you can pick the focus text, or you can type that in there, click start analysis, and it's going to go through the 12 different MagHealy business programs. And then it's going to, of course, it's going to, as I mentioned, order them based off relevancy. And you have the results here. And one thing to keep in mind is that you don't actually vibrate these in the Analyse app within the business suite. So the MagHealy with the business program analysis is meant to give you which of these programs you need the most right now. And then you'll see on the far right, if you click on, say, the highest one up on the list here, I did this on my dog, Charlie. Abundance flows effortlessly into his life. And the number 1 program that came up was leadership strength, 57% relevancy. So you'll see I clicked on that, and then it's going to tell you, do you want to open this program in the Healy app? So at this point, it's saying, okay, are you done with what you're doing in the Analyse app? Do you want to close it out? And then it's going to open up to this page in the Healy 2 app, so you can run that program with your MagHealy, which you see all the way. Let's click on the far left here. You'll see as soon as I clicked yes, it closed out of the Analyse 2 app, opened up the Healy 2 app, and took me right to the leadership strength program group page. And it says, of course, maximum program duration, 66 minutes. It tells you where to place the MagHealy. So this is one of the new business programs that's going to be available. Then you'll see a little bit further to the right. So the Meridian programs and the business programs, those are the 2 newer modules that are available with the MagHealy. Meridians, of course, is available right now. Business programs coming soon. And you'll see within the business program groups, we have the 12 different business programs. So we have goal setting, self-confidence, self-employment, determination, independence, motivational boost, organizational talent, team player, leadership strength, business acumen, career advancement, and prosperity. So within this is where you do the analysis. It takes you to the MagHealy itself, and then you can run those programs with the MagHealy for yourself here. So
let's keep in mind too. A comment I want to make is that there was just an update to the Advisor app just like a day ago. So if you don't see this in your listing, then do an update, because we're now at 2.4.0 version with the HealAdvisor Analyse app. It's the 2 version, HealAdvisor Analyse 2. We get this on some of our other calls a lot about, I'm not seeing this, I'm not seeing that. It's because they're still using the old app. Making sure you're on the new one. You've done an update recently. And then this business suite is a demo for a little bit, right? You get to play with this. So
yeah, it's actually only available for a small number of users right now, because we're still going through this beta phase, making the final adjustments as well. And then also the Meridians program, that's an add-on module that you can buy for a one-time fee. The business programs, it's not yet available publicly. And this is actually going to be the business suite itself, which includes programs that can be used for either the MagHealy or the Healy. That's a separate subscription program that will be available within the next, month or so. We'll have more information as far as the exact release date on that. But there's some really great programs, and actually, again, we're focusing on MagHealy for this particular Healy for Beginners and Beyond. But I wanted to, again, kind of just show what's coming soon with this business suite. So you see, before, when we looked at the business suite, when we were connected to our MagHealy, the business program analysis was the only one that you could select, and the other three were grayed out. Now we have the reverse. So you see, we're connected to our Healy device. We have the Healy device icon in the top right corner, and then the green arrow there. But then once you go to the business suite after you're connected to your Healy, if you have the business suite, you'll be able to do the business coach analysis, personality analysis, and also the target optimization. And this is just, we're not going to go into the actual in depth in each of these programs, but this is just a kind of a screenshot that shows what each of those do. So in the business coach analysis, you analyze the relevance of the various business areas in the information field. And then for each of these, you're able to actually vibrate these results into the information field as well, which is great. The personality analysis module, which is very cool. Scary, very scary how accurate that one is for sure. And then target optimization module is great. You can type in any goal that you have, and it'll provide results that will help you get there as well. So we'll be talking a lot more about the business suite in the near future. Just wanted to, in this particular case, show the difference between when you're connected to your MagHealy with the Analyse 2 app versus the Healy with the Analyse 2 app. Okay, so this next topic, I think, is one of our more frequently asked questions on our Tech Tip Tuesdays that we have every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And basically, it's for those of you that have a resident edition or higher, which is most people at Healy World, I forget the exact date that it was added, but more than a year ago, the MagHealy databases were added to the Analyse app, to where you could do an analysis for the MagHealy programs and vibrate those results as well, even if you didn't have a MagHealy. So this is basically, you can do the analysis, you can do the vibration of those programs with the Healy device, or you can run those programs with the MagHealy in the Healy 2 app. And this is really, it's kind of similar to how we have just with the Healy device. We have some of the databases that are available with your Healy, with the resonance module. You might not have all those programs actually in the Healy 2 app to run with microcurrent or with a coil, but you can vibrate those frequencies, those programs into the information field. So Ken, I know you've talked a lot about kind of the using both of these together. Maybe you can kind of share a little bit about the difference in the technology. We're talking frequencies in the information field versus the power of the magnetic fields with the MagHealy, if you're actually running an individual program with the MagHealy.
Yeah, we get a lot of questions about this distinction because it seems to be, trying to wrap our head around whether we're applying information, and let's just call it all information to the body via the electrodes and the microcurrent, or information into the body via magnetic signal. So two different ways of doing that. And the MagHealy is designed for the magnetic wave. That's why it's called MagHealy, magnetic Healy, right? It's designed to send information into the body through magnetic energy. And magnetic energy is electrical and magnetic information collected together to make it an electromagnetic wave. So that's how information is passed into the body. The body is a walking, talking antenna. It receives information all the time in that fashion. Because you're mostly water, your minerals, that kind of stuff, the magnetic wave conducts across the body induces a electron flow or information flow into the body, and the body interprets that, decodes it, and uses it. That's how the MagHealy was designed to work and function. And it's got its own unique programs and such to do that, pass that information on. The Healy, on the other side of the fence, is designed to implement information to the body via microcurrent. And microcurrent has a plethora of improvements within the body, or ways it accents the body in ATP production, amino acid transport, protein synthesis. That's just proven science on the effects of microcurrent. So the microcurrent is the carrier wave to send frequencies into the body. It's like a pail containing the information, and the microcurrent is that pail, that transport system through the body. And when you connect with the electrodes, it's sending electron flow through the body. Remember, as I mentioned before, electromagnetic waves go through the air and come across the body to induce an electron flow, right? So that's done magnetically. We're doing it directly here by connecting to the body. We're sending electron flow right into the body. And so you can actually do both of these at the same time and augment or accent your goal, whatever your goal is. I use these simultaneously around, say, some fitness protocols that I like. If I am running, say, a program from the MagHealy around around fitness, around increasing the body's capability, there's some programs that I can do that, and I can run them magnetically into the body while I'm running microcurrent frequencies to, say, I don't know, from the fitness page around muscle or recovery, right? So those two are synergistic, giving information into the body, and the body then decodes that content and then utilizes it to improve cell structures, system structures, functionality, recovery processes, all that kind of stuff. So two different ways. Okay, I want everybody to try to attach to the distinction from magnetic wave information and electron flow information. So one more direct into the body, the other more subtle and invisible influence into the body. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this again, one's not, you don't replace the MagHealy by just vibrating the programs via the Analyze app. Ken mentioned you can use these together; they complement each other as well. Just like running or vibrating programs with your Healy doesn't replace using microcurrent with the Healy 2 app either. So it's all meant to be used together, not just to replace or in place of one or the other.
Like like eating a salad with a protein, right? In a meal, you're synergistically putting combination of types of foods together, right, to support the body. We're doing the same thing in types of information in terms of magnetic wave or electron flow.
Yeah,
So same thing. We're just making a little
yeah,
smorgasbord.
yeah, absolutely. All right. So as we mentioned earlier, we're going to talk a little. Actually, this it's funny because this came up. We had a lot of questions on Tech Tip Tuesday this week about just charging things in general, and specifically the MagHealy. And we mentioned we were going to do a little segment on this, and I'm excited about this one in particular because we get a lot of questions. Our tech support team gets a lot of questions about the proper charging of the MagHealy because it's different than the Healy device itself. We're talking a much more powerful device with a much bigger battery as well, and we're also talking about a wireless charger versus something that needs to be plugged in with the cable directly to the wall. So first off, just some tips regarding the wireless charging or the wireless charging behavior of the MagHealy. Is first, we've had this question a few times too, is that somewhat in position one, which for a lot of people or in general, position one, you think, okay, the device is off. And it's on the charger, and then you open up your Healy 2 app or you open up the Analyze app and you're like, well, why did it connect to my MagHealy? It's in position one. and I'm not using it. It's off as far as I know. But that is normal behavior. That if it's on the charger in position one, you can still connect to it. If it's not on the charging pad, you cannot connect to it if it's in position one. But while it's being charged, and this is really the same thing. You think about the way your Healy device works. If your Healy device is off, you haven't pushed the power button. If you plug it in, start charging it, it will allow you to connect to the Healy device, even in the Healy 2 app. It'll let you connect to it. It won't let you run a program because by design, it's not going to let you run a microcurrent program while it's being charged, but it'll connect to it and then give you a message saying, you cannot run this program or load this program at this time while it's being charged. But with the Analyze app, I think we all know you can use the Analyze app um, for hours at a time while it's being charged. If you were to start vibrating a program, you can do it for an extended period of time. And same thing. If it's plugged in, you don't have to push that power button in order for you to connect to it and start using it. So the act of being just plugged in itself is enough for you to be able to at least connect to the Healy or the MagHealy.
Mhm.
And
If this wireless, and we'll talk about this a little bit more too, because it's a wireless, there's a specific protocol for the wireless. We're going to talk
yeah,
about the chi.
yeah,
No different than the chi of your body, right? The energy fields of your body. Similar. This is just means it's a standard operating system for wireless
yeah,
charging.
yeah. I mean, it is a cool name that they gave the standard for wireless charging related to kind of energy flow there. But yeah, you don't have to use just the MagHealy wireless charger. These are wireless chargers are a lot more common these days. With most phones these days support some sort of wireless charging or watches or that kind of thing as well. And you can use other chargers as long as they support that Qi standard. And the Qi standard, as Ken just mentioned, it basically is a global standard that defines how power is delivered wirelessly using inductive charging. So if you're looking for another charger, or you have one at home and you want to see if it's compatible with the MagHealy, you just look for that, and then you will know if it works. And a lot of us have these. I at home I have a couple other different wireless chargers and things, and they all work perfectly fine with the MagHealy. But just know there are options there. And then the reverse also. You can charge other things with the MagHealy charger other than just the MagHealy. You can, in many cases, charge your phone or other things that also support charging via this Qi standard too,
Mhm.
which is a kind of cool thing also. And then
The
also,
the the
yes,
standardization, by the way, folks, it's important standardization so that, you don't have, well, just like USB, we have a lot of different USB connectors, don't we?
yeah,
And so USB, the part that actually plugs into the charging block or into the computer or whatever, that's the same, but the other end of the cord might be all kinds of different things. And as with the plate for the MagHealy charger, it is a USB-C type, where you
yeah.
might have USB mini, you might have, USB, the lightning port. I mean, all kinds of things. Just make sure that that plugs in properly into your plate. And there's other types, by the way. If you damage your cord, you can get another
Yeah.
cord that replaces it because it is a universal system. So there's many aftermarket available out there. We want to talk about the power of the aftermarket, not the cord itself, but the charging block that goes in the wall. We'll talk about that too.
Yeah, yeah. The next slide, we have some details on that. Um, one of the things also I wanted to mention, Ken, you brought up the cable. It comes with a USB-C to a USB-A, and USB-C is on the charging pad side. If you have, say at your desk or wherever you want to charge it, say you only have USB-C on the other side, on both sides, that's fine. You can use a USB-C and a USB-C cable, and that part is not critical as far as how this would work. So it doesn't have to be USB-A to USB-C. USB-A in many cases is slowly being phased out. A lot of things only come with USB-C these days. So maybe you have a wall charger or something at home, or some ports that are built in and they're just USB-C. that's fine. You can just get an additional cable, USB-C to USB-C, and you'll be able to charge your MagHealy with that as well. But the funny thing, we were talking about the MagHealy charger kind of leading up to this Healy for Beginners and Beyond, and I was discussing the light. There's a small light on the MagHealy charger, and um, I forgot who I mentioned it to, but they're like, "What light?" I never knew that there was a light on the charger. Actually, let me
It's a
put this
little,
here. But so on the opposite end of where you plug in your your MagHealy charging pad, there's a green, right now it's green light on there. So as I kind of listed here, there's a solid green light on when the charging pad is connected to the power source to the wall, but there's no device on the pad. So you see I have the green light on now. If I take my MagHealy, there we go. Take the MagHealy and put it on, you see that light goes off, and then it initiates the charging sequence. So when this light is off, it means your MagHealy is either charging or the charging pad is disconnected from the wall. So if I were to take this back off, you see that light comes back on, but then I'm going to remove the cable from the back. So I remove the cable from the back, and then, okay, the light goes off. So that kind of just, it's not too complex. Just wanted, if you're wondering what these light patterns are. And then there also is a blinking pattern. If for some reason there's a charging failure, there's something not right with how the MagHealy is charging or the power source itself, you might see that this light would be flashing, and you just want to make sure that you check all the connections there as well. And then I just have a note here at the bottom for when you first get your MagHealy. Same with the Healy device. You're going to want to fully discharge the battery and then fully charge it at least twice in order for the battery indicator to be properly calibrated there. So, the first couple times it might not be as exact, the percentage that's listed there in the app, until you actually do this fully discharged twice, fully charged twice, will get you the most accurate battery readout there. So, yeah, okay. This next slide here, I'm going to rely on you, the engineer here, to kind of explain this, because there's a lot that goes into, again, after on the other side of this cable, as you mentioned, what happens then? So, the minimum specification for charging the MagHealy is a 2 amp input, basically there. But I put in a note here, to ensure optimal charging, we recommend using a fast wall charger block with a 5-volt, 3 amp specification. So 2 amp, again, is the minimum per the MagHealy specifications. But our tech support team has their own little tech lab here in our office in Orlando, and have tested, I don't know how many MagHealys at this time, but using different chargers. If we actually have people now, if they have trouble charging their MagHealy, we'll have them sent to our office here. And Miguel Perez from our tech support team did a great job kind of setting up this whole lab. And we've expanded it to additional members of our team now. But we've done lots of testing with different configurations, 1 amp, 2 amp, 3 amp, different chargers, different cables, and that kind of thing. And we've found that 3 amp gives the most reliable charging behavior. And then not only just 3 amp, but a lot of us have USB ports, or like a hub where there might be 4 different USB ports on one plug. And you have to be really careful with those types of things, because there might be, if you have other things plugged in with it, you might not be getting the same amount of power. You're not going to get it's splitting the power between those ports, basically. You're not getting all the power to one port. There's some chargers that are better at that, where there's a dedicated amount per port. And if you read through the descriptions, it might say that. But I kind of make the disclaimer that even if it says that, it might not always be the case unless you have the tools and technology that someone like Ken has to actually test what's being put through those individual ports. You might not know, other than maybe your charging behavior of the MagHealy. Maybe it's a little bit slower there. So Ken, if you could just kind of explain a little bit more about what's going on here. I included this little terminology thing in the bottom right, just because we're talking what AMA, MAH, all this kind of thing means there. But
Yeah.
maybe help us all understand a little bit more about why this. It can be confusing if you're not really sure what you're looking for, but it's important to have the right specification of the right charger, and make sure that you have your Healy, both Healy and MagHealy, charging basically the optimal conditions.
This is one of our really, really common questions on the Tech Tip Tuesday, and people, and we also get a lot of input and feedback because somebody says, "Oh, my device no longer lasts as long as it used to," and all that has to do with our charge cycle and the way the behavior in which we charge our devices. And as Jake showed you, the charging block or the plate for your MagHealy looks like this, and on the back of it there's some information, and it's really small, so I took a picture of it and blew it up, but it actually says on the
Actually,
back.
while you're talking, I actually have a picture
There you
of it.
go. There you go. So on the back it does say the voltage and the amps or the current. When we're talking about amps, folks, let's just go this way for a second. Let's talk about voltage and amps. If we look at voltage is the potential difference between 0 and some offering, right? So 12 volts, 2 volts, 5 volts, whatever is the amount of potential difference that's available for the power source. So let's look at it like the hose, your garden hose. Your garden hose is like the potential difference, and the valve is like the amps, how much water comes out of that hose. So the valve, you turn it up higher, more water comes out, meaning more amps, more electron flow is what that looks like. So when we have more amps or more water flow, we can water more of our garden, right? We can have more pressure to hose down our car or whatever we're doing with the water. Similar here, amps is the available power that we can apply amps to something. In other words, to charge it back up. So in the Healy, the case of the Healy, it's got a very small battery. It's a really small battery in there, and so the amount of amps to charge it, let's put it this way: the amount of power to charge it in a short period of time is less. So an amp determines essentially the power available to run anything. And then the time to charge that would be what's referred to in the charge or in that chart as amp hours. So if we have a battery that is, say, 5 volts and it has 1,000 amp hours, it means that it can run that 5 volts for about 1,000 hours. But these are milliamps, or millionths of an amp, very small amount of power, and it can run that for a certain period of time. All right, so when we have a charging block, these little guys right here, this is kind of the significance. I want you guys to take a look at the block you're using because they're not all the same, as Jake said. They have these output power on them, and they may have an output power of 2 amps, which equates to 2,000 milliamps. It's just where you put the decimal point, okay? It's the same, means the same, millionths of an amp or amps in general. So 2 amps is the same as 2,000 milliamps. They may put that much power, or they may list that on the label, but when they actually put a load to it, it's not the same. They have what's called peak or max output, and then what's called sustainable or typical. They'll always advertise the peak, by the way, to show you a bigger number, right? They show you a bigger number, but what you're actually sustaining may be as much as 40% less than that number. So this is why we get these, people say, well, I've got this 2,000 amp charging block plugged into my charging plate on the MagHealy, which is the minimum, and it's still taking forever to charge, or it's not charging at all. And remember that because the MagHealy has a bigger battery, it's going to require more amps to bring it to full, to charge it all the way up. And so, as Jake said, I like to go to like a 3000 milliamp or a 3 amp charging block, and then allow that to the device is going to charge maybe a little faster, but that's okay. It's not going to hurt it. The other thing to consider about magnetic charging blocks. Remember what I said earlier when you're running electron flow into your body with the Healy versus a magnetic signal from the MagHealy? So there's a bit of a transducing or a changing of that information when it's a magnetic wave versus electrons. So same here, when you're charging your phone or you're charging your MagHealy, it's a magnetic signal called inductive power. And it's then inducing that into the MagHealy. So there's a little bit of loss in efficiency there, not much, but a little. And so it's better to have a little bit higher power charging block than a lower power charging block. So you're making sure you're getting the right amount of energy to your MagHealy. Hopefully that makes sense. And in this case, like you see a little at the bottom left corner of the screen here, a 3 amp charger. It's talking about 3.0, that's 3 amp, or 3000 milliamps. Take a look for those. One real important thing, as Jake said, when you've got a charging block, in other words, you got a lot of output ports there, USB ports or plugins there for charging different devices. The more inexpensive ones have limited circuitry inside. And so each of those output ports may be splitting the entire overall amp capability of that device. So if it's a 5000 milliamp or a 5 amp and it's got 5 ports, and they're saying each port has 2 amps or 2000 milliamps, probably not, if it's not really high quality, because it's splitting that whole 5000 over those 5 ports, meaning you might get 1000 milliamps, or equates to 1 amp per port. So those are just important distinctions to make when you're making your choices. Go for good quality. Go for just a little higher. Go to that 3000 milliamp or 3 amp output on your charging block, and you'll probably be fine.
Yeah, I mean, if you're having any charging difficulty, that's why the one that's listed on the screen here, we're not, we don't have a partnership with Anchor or whatever, that kind of thing. They're just they're a solid brand, easily available, at least here in the US. And like Ken mentioned, this isn't this is not the cheapest charger, for a single port charger, but if you're trying to maybe fix some issues, or you're suspecting you might not have the right charging block, we've tested this one and it works great here in our office. So dropping down to a single port, sometimes it is a great idea here. And as far as not all, even if the specifications are the same, not all of them are equal. Ken was talking about the internal components there, because you can get, for like this same charging block that I have here, the one that's listed on the screen, if you just search those specifications, you can find this one. I think is around $15 US on Amazon, but you can find a 3-pack or a 4-pack that say they have the same specifications for like that same price. So, but think about it. Okay, you might be paying a little bit for the name, the reputation, that kind of thing, but can someone provide 4 of these for the same price as one of these as well? And maybe it works fine. Maybe one of the 4 works fine and the other 3 don't. You never know, or maybe it just won't last as long either. So having something that's going to last is reliable is important as well. So yeah, and Ken, you mentioned the size of the battery. The bottom right there, you'll see the Healy battery is measured in the milliamp hours, and the MagHealy battery. The MagHealy battery is 18 times bigger than the Healy battery itself. So, of course, it's charging at a higher speed. It's charging at that um, on the inductive charger is charging at the 5 watt um, power there, but you'll see it does take a little bit longer. And then also, if you're using a not like a lower quality charging block, and a lot of us like to use you might be using your MagHealy with the atmosphere program while it's charging. Maybe you're using like a sleep program overnight. And if you're, the MagHealy, the charging behavior, it's designed to charge at a very specific speed to preserve the battery life. But if you're finding that it's even while it's on the charger, while you're using it, if it's draining very, very fast, it could be that your charging block itself isn't providing enough power to the MagHealy. But it is normal, even when the MagHealy is on the charger, if you're using the atmosphere program at say 100%, for it to still lose some power along the way. So
Yeah, remember, folks, that the MagHealy is putting out energy, right? And it's getting it from the battery. And when you have the MagHealy on the charging block is supplying power to the battery, but from a different resource, from a different circuit. It's charging. The depletion side of the battery is where you're using the system to actually transmit magnetic frequencies. And if that rate is not, if the charge rate is not higher than the depletion rate, you're going to drain the battery, right? Does that make sense? You're going to pull more power than you're giving it. And so it's going to go dead over a certain period of time, even if it's on the block. So we want to make sure, again, back to those inverters that plug into the wall that feed power to the charging plate, that they be of high enough amp output to maintain that charge. And so what you're seeing here, and Jake mentioned watts. I'm sorry, guys, don't get confused. We're not here in electronics school. When we're talking about volts and amps and watts, it's like, what the heck is all this, right? It's just another way of measuring power is watts.
yeah,
Amps is another way of measuring the available power. And then the amp hours is a way of measuring how long that available power will last over a certain
yeah.
rate, over a certain depletion rate. So a lot of
Yeah.
stuff here, guys. Sorry, we don't want to get too
No,
complicated.
and Ken, you mentioned that on the back of the charger, the charging pad itself, you'll see there's the output listed. It says 5 watt,
Yep.
7.5 watt, and 10 watt. So, but so this charger is capable of outputting up to 10 watts. But if you look on the back of your MagHealy, so here at the very top, you'll see here it says made in Germany, and then it says um, 5 watt inductive. So the MagHealy is designed to charge at that 5 watt output or input coming from the charging pad itself. But the wireless charger that comes with it can charge other devices up to the 10 watt output.
Yeah, and that gets confusing. The amount of watts available has to do with the charging block that you're putting in.
Hmm.
Okay, so it does have to do with that. So if you just make sure that your charging block is a 5 volt output,
Yeah,
and a 2500 milliamp or 3000 milliamp,
yeah,
you're going to be right there within the probable desired charge or power that the MagHealy is looking for. So, and the only way to, I mean, unless you have instrumentation test equipment, you're not going to know exactly what the output
yeah,
of that plate is in the moment. You can go by behavior and behavior of your Healy, or your MagHealy. If your MagHealy is dying over a certain period of time, don't blame the MagHealy so much. We have to go back and look at the charging capacity.
yeah. If your MagHealy is working fine, you're fine with how it's charging. Everything. You don't need to do anything. This is just additional information. In case you're wanting to kind of understand more what might be going on if you aren't having, the best charging um, behavior right now. But if you're good with everything, you don't need to go out and buy a new charging block or anything like that. But if something does come up, this is something that you can check as a possible source of the issue. Okay. Oh, sorry. I did want to specify too. Um, it might seem obvious to some people, but I put above each of these, top and bottom, because it's it happens. Some people aren't familiar with wireless chargers, and we've had people submit support tickets where they have they send us a picture like this with the MagHealy on top and complain that it's not charging right or that kind of thing. So, yeah, it fits on both sides, but it will only charge with this side up on top there. So just keep that in mind. You don't like to assume that someone might be doing something wrong, but it's definitely worth checking there, because it does fit on either side there. And then last slide here before we just share some of the screen in the Analyze app for just a few minutes to close. But the MagHealy charger, as of Monday this week, is now available for purchase in the US and Mexico shop. So if you go to the US shop right now or Mexico shop, go to the accessories section and you'll see these listed for sale. And it includes the charging pad and also a USB-C to USB-A cable. So that's available now. As I mentioned earlier, other wireless chargers do work with the MagHealy if they support that Qi standard. But again, this one is made specifically for the MagHealy, so it's the exact size and everything like that. If maybe you've lost one or maybe you want another one for a different part of the house or something like that, just know that they are now available for sale, and they will be available in the Canada shop starting on July 1st, and then I believe sometime later in July, most likely, or into August, in the Colombia shop. Okay, so Ken, I'm gonna switch over. Let me stop sharing this screen, and then we're just gonna spend a few minutes in the Analyze app itself, kind of showing some of the things that we were um, describing there on this with the screenshots earlier. So let me switch over here. Okay. All right. So we are sharing screen right now. I'm going to open up actually the Analyze app. We'll go right here. And right now, I have one of the things that we mentioned earlier, I have my MagHealy on the charging pad in position 1. So we're going to just click next here. And I also want to demonstrate something real quick. As I mentioned earlier, so I was using my Healy device the last time I opened up this app. So I'm wanting to use the MagHealy right now. So in order to get the MagHealy modules to appear, again, we're going to click on that top right, and then it's going to search for devices. So this particular MagHealy is the one ending in BC. If you have other devices around, I'm in the office right now, so there's lots of other things around that are available to connect to right now, but I'm going to go with this one here, which is the one in my hand. I'm going to click connect, and then we'll see here. It should just take a couple seconds. Okay, so now we're connected to the MagHealy. It's fully charged. And then if I want to go back to actually run an analysis, this is what we demonstrated earlier as well. In that upper left-hand corner, click that back arrow, and then this is going to take me to the module section. Now you'll see in the top right corner, we have the MagHealy icon along with that green circle with the Bluetooth symbol in there. And then you'll see the lights on the front here. We have the Bluetooth light flashing, and then we have the power light on there as well. So one thing I did want to show though, remember how, Ken, earlier we were talking about how you can connect to the MagHealy even if it's in position 1, as long as it's on the charger. So see, everything's good right now. I could go ahead, I could run a program, that kind of thing, or do an analysis. But watch what happens. Look at the top right corner of the screen here to that little green circle with the Bluetooth symbol. I'm going to take this off, and then see it went to red. So as soon as this is off the charging pad, in position 1, that means that it's no longer able to connect. If you want to connect when it's off the charging pad, it has to be in at least position 2. And really, the only difference between position 2 and position 3 are those lights on the outer side. So position 2, this way, would put on the lights on the top, and then 3, when you actually run the program, you would have those lights flashing as well there.
And this is the same principle with the Healy. If the Healy is plugged in to a charging cord and it's powered up, it's on essentially, just like the Healy is. The MagHealy is on even with the switch in the one position. It's still on when it's being fed power from the charging system. So you can still connect to either one, right? When it's plugged in.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that's a
exactly.
good demonstration.
So one last thing I want to demonstrate. So again, we disconnected because I took it off the charging pad. So I'm going to go ahead. Let's connect to it again. I put it back on the charging pad. I'm going to connect back to the one ending in BC. So again, let's get a check mark comes up. We're good. I'm going to go back. So if you want to switch to a different device, so once you've already connected, if you click that icon in the top right, before it said connect to device, now it just says battery, or with the battery readout and then the serial number. So you might be wondering, okay, well, if it's already connected to something else, how do I connect it to a different device? So if you're already connected, rather than going to the top right corner and clicking the icon, you're going to go to your settings, and then you're going to click on My MagHealy. If you're connected to your Healy device, it would say My Healy versus My MagHealy, but we're connected to the MagHealy right now. So we're going to click on My MagHealy. And again, similar information, but now we have the option to connect to another device. And it asks, would you like to disconnect the active connection? I'm going to click yes. At this point, it brings us back to the search for devices. And this time I'm going to connect to my Healy device. And then again, this should just take a couple seconds, and then we'll be back to the connected screen. Again, top left corner, back arrow brings you, well, in this case, back to the settings because that's where we were. But to get back to the main page, you can just go to the Me section, and then all your Healy modules will be there instead of the MagHealy modules. So just keep in mind, whatever you were last using after you close the app, that's what's going to default to when you open back up the next time.
Earlier talking about how we can run the MagHealy and the Healy at the same time. This is a similar process when you're in the Pink app for connecting multiple devices at the same time. Once you get a program running on either device, you get the program running on the MagHealy, you get the program running on the Healy. Once you get it running and operational, it's loaded and it's running, you can hard close the app and go connect to another device and start it running. So you can run multiple programs at the same time.
Yep. Okay.
Cool.
So that covers what we wanted to present today to all of you. Just know we went through a lot, especially in the engineering electronics section. Just know that the recording of this will be available on our YouTube channel at HealyAmericas.com in case you want to go back and reference anything that we said, look at screenshots, that kind of thing, share with anybody on your team. That should be up on our site probably by Monday at the latest. And yeah, Ken, anything you wanted to add from your side before we go?
Well, as Jake said, we did cover some complex things. So if things don't make sense, you've watched the recording, you've taken some notes, come see us on Tech Tip Tuesday, and we'll see if we can expand on what your information is. And
yeah, we'd love to see all of you on Tech Tip Tuesdays. Again, to join that call, it is, again, Tuesdays at 8 p.m. and you go to HealyTTT.com to join that. Maybe we should put that in the chat here.
And we're there every week, guys. So this call is when there's new content, or every month, and Tech Tip Tuesdays every week, scheduling permitting. So you got that resource.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is typically a once a month call. We'd like to do new things on this. Occasionally we'll do kind of a refresher, but we haven't done one on MagHealy for a while, so that's why we wanted to focus on that topic this time, because there has been a little bit of new stuff going on, and this will be a great reference for everybody going forward as well. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Thank you. Amazing as always, Ken. Thank you, Dongni, for great support in the chat. And thank you all for joining us. And yeah, look out for the recording by early next week. And we hope to see you all on future Tech Tip Tuesdays and Healy for Beginners and Beyond, and Frequencies and Friends on Monday at noon Eastern Time will be our next big meeting. So we'll see you all then. Thank you, everybody, and have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.